Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pageant Sit Down. My name is Regina Elena, and we are so excited to have you here with us today. When I say we, I mean myself and my co-host. Let's bring her on, Elizabeth. Hey, Liz.
Hi, Regine. Welcome to my London, Ontario setup. We're on reading week, so we're here for just a little bit. But how are you today, Regine?
I'm good. It's been a busy. Oh, first off, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like today's just been so crazy at work. It's the worst part of a short week, but the best part is it is a short week, so no complaints.
Everyone's tired from the turkey, so we're all feeling it.
Exactly. How was your long weekend?
It was really fun. I went down to Michigan with my uncles. We had a little niece giving, as they like to call it, so that was really fun. And then we had a little Thanksgiving on Monday, so nothing too crazy. How about you?
The sit down on Sunday, family dinners,
Yep.
Sunday or Monday, just the usual.
Love it.
Yes, but I would love to hear how another person's Thanksgiving went.
Yes. Well, this is a perfect time to introduce our amazing guest, the current reigning Miss Confidence Canada 2022, Kaitlyn Kotila. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well,
Thanks for joining
welcome. Yes. First off, in the chats, Janice McGregor says, "Happy belated Thanksgiving, ladies." Happy Thanksgiving. Well, Kaitlyn, welcome to the Pageant Sit Down. I had the opportunity of being one of your judges when you won Miss Confidence Canada, so I got a chance to meet you very briefly for 5 minutes. So can you tell myself and the viewers, as well as Liz, a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Kaitlyn. I'm currently the reigning Miss Confidence Canada 2022. I am also a public speaker and currently the president of Fiat Sudbury Pride. I also, in my day job, am a social media manager. I love video games, so I'm kind of a jack of all trades. And I, for my platform, am really passionate about mental health and suicide prevention. After losing a very close friend to suicide at the age of 14, I was then propelled into speaking so that I could share my story of hope, with the idea that hopefully nobody else has to lose their life to suicide. And so I'm very, very passionate about mental health and just living your life to the fullest, living your life authentically, because I believe that if we are able to be our true, authentic selves, then people are going to be a whole lot happier. And so that's really what I like to do in my spare time, is make this world a better place and advocate for a world in which people can thrive.
I love that.
That was amazing, by the way. Very, very concise, got a lot of info. I'm ready to dive into all of that, but for some people who may not know what the Miss Confidence Canada pageant's all about, do you mind sharing what it is and what your pageant's what you have to do with it?
Absolutely. So the Miss Confidence Canada pageant has been around now. I believe I'm actually the second Miss Confidence Canada. We also have a teen division. So we have Miss Confidence Canada and Teen Confidence Canada. And the whole idea, it was started by Melanie Renault, she was Miss Galaxy Canada. She passed on her title not that long ago. And the idea is to promote confidence among women here in Canada. And so I've been very lucky to have gotten this title and have a platform now in which I can promote being confident and creating a world in which people can feel confident being themselves.
Love it.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
It's okay, just to jump in there. So I know one of the questions that was asked during the interviews is, what is confidence to you? So what is confidence to you, Kaitlyn?
In my opinion, confidence is really just being yourself and not caring about what other people think of you. Being able to really go after your goals, to live life to the fullest and not let others' opinions stand in your way. I think that oftentimes we are taught to value ourselves based on, the amount of social media likes we have or followers, or how we fit into this kind of square box or mold of what we believe a beautiful woman is. And I think confidence is having the courage to really embrace what makes you unique despite what society is telling you, and really going with that and embracing that.
Amazing. I really love that. And for some people who may want to enter Miss Confidence Canada or join this brand because they resonate with that, what are some of the competitions that you compete in to win your title?
Yeah, absolutely. So Miss Confidence Canada is actually a virtual pageant. So I got into Miss Confidence Canada because Melanie reached out to me. It was during the pandemic, and it's a really great opportunity to practice those skills, whether you've been in many pageants or you're brand new to the pageant world and you want an opportunity to practice public speaking, essay writing, the different categories. I may miss one because it's been a little while. Okay. But we're interview. There was a essay you actually had to write. There was photogenic. I believe you could do a confidence project. So the confidence project is where you came up with a project that you would enact in your community if you received the title that helped to instill confidence among young women in your community. And so we had to submit either a written proposal or a video explaining our project. I think that's it. I think that's it.
That sounds good. That sounds like a good amount of things. I'm sure people can look that up online. Instagram, Facebook, Miss Confidence Canada Pageant, all that jazz if they want to learn more. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. I wanted to dive in because we do have a couple social media questions, and this one's actually from your director. What inspired you to start pageantry?
So I started pageantry back when I was 16 years old. It was the Miss Teen Heartbeat pageant. So this is a pageant that takes place in Timmins, and it started out as a fundraiser for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. I saw this pageant and I thought, you know what, this looks like a really cool thing. I remember growing up, I used to watch the Miss World pageant on the television, and I thought, wow, these women are so incredible and I want to be like them. And it really inspired me. And so when I saw this opportunity, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. Let's just see what happens. And so I packed all of my things and I went up to Timmins, which was a couple hours north of where I am here in Sudbury. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to leave my heart on the table. I'm going to just give it my best shot. And this was my first ever pageant, so I didn't enter expecting to win or anything. I just was like, you know what? I want to be here for the experience, to push myself out of that comfort zone and try something new. I've always, wanted to dress up in those fancy dresses and to share my story, and that was a great platform to do it. And I ended up actually winning. It was an incredible experience, and I was blown away. And from there, I was really inspired to continue. And from there, I went to compete at Miss North Ontario and then Miss World Canada. So it really opened so many doors that I never thought were possible, and is really what gave me the confidence to pursue my public speaking career full time.
That's amazing.
Speaking of your public speaking, I was just going to say, speaking of the public speaking, you are amazing at communicating, and honestly, just from the couple minutes we've been on here, I'm like kind of blown away. What kind of got you started in public speaking, and what do you like public speak at events, or what does that all entail?
Yeah, so pageantry really is what got me started. I, for a long time, wanted to get into public speaking. After I lost my friend to suicide, it was definitely a topic where I knew that I had a voice that could inspire others. I knew I had a story of hope that could encourage people and show people that they were not alone in what they were going through. After losing my friend, I felt very, very alone in my struggles, and I felt like I was the only person who was feeling that way. And I turned to the internet, I turned to social media to see that I wasn't the only person, that there were lots of people who had gone through this experience and who felt the same way I did. And I knew that I had a perspective that I could really add to the story in hopes of helping other people who felt the way I did. But I didn't really have the confidence at that time to be able to share that story. It was still really new and it felt a little uncomfortable, and I had a lot of imposter syndrome. I felt a lot of, who am I to be sharing this story? I'm not good enough, all of those kind of negative thoughts. And pageantry really showed me that I could do it, because there were so many incredible women with so many different stories who were all sharing their platforms and sharing their stories with others. And that really inspired me to dig deep in myself and realize, you know what, I'm able to communicate in this way. I have this story to share. What's stopping me? And I realized the thing that was stopping me was myself. I was getting in my own way of sharing my story and my gifts and my talents. And so after competing in pageants and gaining some of those skills and that confidence, I said, let's just see what happens. And so I reached out to some schools and different conferences and I said, hey, I have a story to share. Can I share it? And I'm really grateful. Some conferences, they took a chance on me and they said, sure, why not? Come on. And so I was able to speak at a number of different conferences and schools. And from there, it just kind of gained momentum. And I'm really excited, actually. At the end of the month, I get to go to Washington, D.C. and be on a panel on suicide prevention and the need for crisis services and a crisis hotline. And that's all because I just took a chance one day and said, you know what, let's see what happens.
That's first off, so sorry to hear about your friend, but wow, imagine like that all. Wow. Okay. Anyways, for going to the chats, Janice McGregor says, your crown sparkles so much, but more importantly, you are very articulate and well-spoken, a true gem in our country.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Janice, literally, that's why I was like, let me just read this, because Janice is true. She speaks the truth. You're very well-spoken. And it's amazing that, one thing that you went through in life that is one of the darkest times in your life blossomed to become who you are now. Being able to share your story, share your words, and to be there for other people. That's amazing.
Absolutely. I truly think, and whenever I'm standing on that stage or I'm doing a talk virtually or whatever it may be, there is always a part of me that remembers that I never expected that I would make it this far. I lost my friend and I went through a very dark time. And for a very long time, I didn't think that I would live to see another day, right? It was very, very low moments in my life. And so every day I get to live and I get to share that story. Not only am I proving myself wrong and I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also getting to live the life that she never got to live, right? That mental health or mental illness took away from her. And so it always reminds me, and I always am so grateful that I get to have this chance to live this life that she didn't get to live and many people unfortunately don't get to live. And that keeps me going. That gets me out of bed every day and makes me realize that my message and my mission is so much bigger than just me.
Yeah, I got goosebumps as you were talking. I'm so glad I have a sweater on.
Yeah, so I mean, that's amazing. It's a very heavy topic, right? So it's amazing that you're able to speak on it, because that in itself does a lot of great things for people who might be suffering in silence or don't want to speak up, which is also totally valid. As Miss Confidence Canada, do you work with any charities, or do you use social media? How do you promote this platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely am trying to use social media a lot more. Like I said, during my day job, I am a social media manager. And so I've gotten to really learn and experiment and see how effective social media can be as a tool to reach other people and get those messages to the people who need it. And so I've definitely been trying to use social media, but also working with local organizations, local harm reduction and mental health organizations like the Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention. And then also through my own organization that I'm chairperson of, Fiatte Sudbury Pride. I really have been lucky to do a lot of work with that organization, both as Kaitlyn and as Miss Confidence Canada. So I've been really lucky in that respect.
For sure.
That's amazing. So outside of public speaking, as well as your pageant experience, What else do you like to do for fun?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things I love to do. Like I said, I am a huge video game nerd. I absolutely love it. I find, especially games, I don't know if you've ever played Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's basically like this little farming simulator. What I love about it is it's really just mindless. I like playing video games at the end of the day to kind of decompress and just kind of take myself out of the day and to just breathe and to immerse myself in a different world and just enjoy and relax. So those are really fun for me. Those are kind of a self-care tool that I use. Other than that, I would say I'm really busy volunteering a lot of time, which sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. I really do enjoy kind of helping other people. And I'm also currently a student where I'm studying political science and communication studies. So I do a lot of things in politics as well.
Oh, wow. Look at her go.
I know that's a hard program because I took political science class and it did not go in my favor. So good for you.
It is definitely a challenge. I remember my first year university. I'm currently in my final year, but first year I remember sitting on a couch in the library, and I sat there and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna be able to finish this. And I just kind of had a little bit of a breakdown. And I always look back to that moment now and I think, wow, if only that Kaitlyn could see where I am today and could see how far I've come and to see that I actually understand what I'm talking about when I talk about politics. It's wild to think back to first year and to think how much I had to struggle through this degree. So I'm really looking forward to when I am done, because it's going to be definitely a lot of hard work that I've put into this and well earned.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Very much relate to that. I love that. It's very hard work, so good for you. How are you balancing being a student and volunteering and enjoying your video games at night while also being Miss Confidence Canada?
It's a lot, I will admit. Lots to juggle and balance, and I will absolutely be honest in saying sometimes it's a little bit too much, right? But I really am a firm believer in time management. My calendar, I would be nowhere without my calendar because it keeps me on track every single day. And one of the hardest lessons I had to learn in trying to juggle everything is learning to say no, or learning when something else is an opportunity better suited for somebody else. So I learned that not everything is meant for me. Not every opportunity is going to be something that I need to be doing. And I really learned when an opportunity does come my way to say, you know what, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, but I think this person would be better for this instead. Or, you know what, I have a lot on my plate right now, but why don't you reach out to this person instead? I think they'd really appreciate it. And trying to just spread that love around to people, because we all deserve to be thriving. And I truly believe there's enough opportunities for everyone. And so recognizing when something is meant for me and when something is better suited for somebody else.
That's awesome. I love that. Knowing when to say no, because especially as a title holder, I feel like you feel some extra pressure to do everything. So that's great that you're able to be like, no, but how about this person instead?
Yeah, I love that point too. It's very interesting because some people might think it's like, you want to take all the opportunities for yourself, but sometimes it's even better to have those around you succeeding and you're all going up together. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Oh my gosh. And like as well. I'm not a huge fan. I say it sometimes, I fall into it, but I'm not a huge fan of the word competing, because I'm not competing against anybody else, right? At the end of the day, the women around me, I want them to succeed just as much as I want to succeed myself. And so I say participating because I'm putting my effort into it. I'm competing against myself, sure, to be the best version of myself, but I'm not competing against anyone else there. I want everyone to succeed and to do well and to really get the most out of these opportunities and experiences. So I have no problem propping other women up.
I love that. I'm curious. So Miss Confidence Canada was a virtual pageant, and they also do the crowning virtually. What was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, where was I? I was somewhere. I forget what I was doing. I was either volunteering or working or something. And I remember I came home and the first person I found out, it was actually from Maria, like the pageant gal. She had sent me a message and she said, "Congratulations." And I was like, "Congratulations on what?" Because I had missed the crowning. And so just because of work and everything, so I wasn't able to be there live. So that message popped up on my phone before I was even able to check, because I knew it was happening, of course, and I wanted to make sure that I saw it. But I, lost track of time, whatever, and I got to my phone, and that was the very first notification I saw. So that's how I found out.
Maria crowned you then.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, obviously I went back and watched the live after and stuff. But yeah, I guess Maria crowned me.
She spoiled it. So did Melanie then just mail everything to you, like your crown and sash?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything came in a nice box. It had a nice handwritten note and so many fun little goodies. I actually ended up doing an unboxing video. So you can check that out on the Miss Confidence Canada Instagram. And it has all the fun little goodies that were in the box and my crown and my sash and everything. So that was a lot of fun. It was a very unconventional crowning, obviously, because it's a virtual pageant. But being creative with that and really getting to immerse myself in that way was really fun and a different experience that you won't get with an in-person pageant. So I'm glad I got to experience that. And Melanie's been absolutely wonderful. We have a little Facebook group chat with the title holders and her. So it's really nice. She's incredibly supportive. So I'm so grateful.
So you mentioned earlier, Melanie was the reigning 2022 Miss Galaxy Canada. What was it like having a director in the midst of her international prep?
Honestly, I think it's kind of nice because it's someone who actually understands what it's like to be in your shoes, and she understands that you're not always going to be able to be 100% there all the time, right? You have other commitments, you have other things you obviously have to be doing with your life. And so she recognized that, okay, if you commit, say, 15% of yourself this month to your title, that, is still good enough, right? She recognized that you have to have, it's not really work-life balance, but I guess you would call it that, title life balance. And so she's able to really understand, and she's able to support in ways where I don't necessarily think a director who's never been in your shoes can relate. So that's really nice. I do love when there are pageant directors who've been a title holder before. They understand the pressures that you're going through and are able to support you in those unique ways that sometimes they wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Right. That's awesome.
Love it.
There's a question from not Instagram, YouTube. Janice asks, can you please tell us more about the Pride organization that you founded?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not the founder, I'm just the president right now. So Fiatte Sebri Pride has been around for 25 years. This was our 25th anniversary this year. So I lucked out in being the president on our 25th anniversary, got to have a lot of fun there. But basically, Fiatte Sebri Pride, so for those of you who don't speak French, Fiatte is just pride in French. So it's Pride, Sudbury Pride. And we are a bilingual pride organization who represents the 2S LGBTQ plus community here in Sudbury. And we really focus on three main pillars: education, so educating not only the greater public, but also our own community; empowerment, so empowering our community; and then having fun, entertainment, really celebrating, because we believe that obviously we have a long way to go as a society, but we also need to celebrate how far we've come. And we need to celebrate the fact that we're still here despite so many people wishing that we as a community weren't. And so those are really kind of the core tenets that our organization focuses on. We do a number of events throughout the year, but our really big main event is Pride Week, which Pride Month is in June, But Sudbury, we decided to go outside of the box, and we have for the past 25 years. So our Pride Week is actually in July.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of different. It was kind of nice because it means that we have a week solely dedicated to our own community here in Sudbury, which is really nice. And so it's a week full of different activities. We had an opening ceremonies, we had different panel discussions, events from Dirty Bingo to Trivia Night. And then usually we close, right? So fun. And then usually we close off with our Pride March. And this year we had record numbers with 1,500 people who all marched the streets of Sudbury. And for those of you who've been to Sudbury, you know it's not that big. So that's pretty wild to see. There were definitely some tears of joy that were shed from me and my team when we saw this giant turnout this year for our 25th anniversary. It really made all of the sleepless nights and the work that we put into it, you know, I always say our blood, sweat, and tears, but we kind of did put all three into making this week full of festivities happen. And that moment really solidified why I was doing what I was doing. And it reminded me that I felt so alone when I was young, and I felt like I didn't have a community here in my city. And so seeing that and seeing everyone come out to support the community really showed that, you know what, I do belong here and that we do have a community here in Sudbury. So I was so grateful for that. And then we ended off with, for our 25th anniversary, we did a 2S LGBTQ+ Community Leaders Awards ceremony. So it was held at Dynamic Earth here in Sudbury, and we gave awards to 5 different leaders in our community who have just been absolutely credible and really trailblazers here in our community. And so it was a wonderful week. I'm so grateful to be a part of this organization. Unfortunately, I will be stepping down in November to finish off my studies, but I'm grateful that I had the year to be president for our 25th anniversary. Like, oh, I couldn't have asked for better.
That is so incredible. I mean, Liz and I, we both love anything to do with drag, so we totally was there a drag show?
Oh yeah,
there was.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We love that. Yeah, no, I think Pride events are so important, and I think they have a way of impacting a lot of people and getting in people's faces that may not get to see your community living their life and doing what, you know, whatever they want to do, and I think that's awesome. I was curious though, since you're a pageant queen, how do you feel like the pageant industry is doing in terms of representing the Pride community and inclusivity in terms of that? Because I know there's some controversies here and there, and I was wondering how you think the pageant community is progressing.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think we've seen more progress throughout, I want to say that at least the last 5 or so years. I look at Miss Universe and Miss USA, seeing, you know, the first trans queens, the first openly queer queens. That's incredible to see. It's definitely something that when I first started, I was a little bit afraid to speak about because I didn't know what women would say, right? Not everyone is going to be accepting always, and that's a reality that I've unfortunately had to learn very quickly. And so when I first started, I kind of bit my tongue a bit. I didn't mention it. I kind of stayed in the background. But along the way, I realized that if I'm going to be out here preaching this platform of being confident in yourself, I had to be my authentic self and be it unapologetically and not care what other people were going to say about me. And I made that choice, and I'm so glad that I did, because now I see the younger generation, I see queens that are younger than me, who are openly gay as well, and who are competing and are not afraid to be their authentic selves. And regardless of what people may say, that it truly shows progress, and it shows that we are creating that space where people can feel comfortable and confident being themselves. And I'd love to see it. I think every pageant system is going to be different. And I know there have been some that I've seen that said, oh, you can't talk about politics, and included that in politics.
Oh,
which, I mean, that's a whole other issue we could talk about. But so I've seen that, but I've also seen systems that are so incredibly supportive. I point to the Miss North Ontario organization as one. They're incredibly supportive and they do not care. They accept you as you are, as you come, and they're so incredible. And so I've had a lot of really good experiences. I've been very lucky to have great experiences. And I look forward to seeing how the pageant community progresses forward, because I don't think there's going back in this community. I think there's only going forward. And I look forward to that.
Yes. Yes, girl. I love that. Well, Kaitlyn, we are at the halfway point of today's episode, and there is a segment on the show. We could listen to you talk all day. There's a segment on the show, which is 5 tips from a beauty queen, and being, a beauty queen yourself, as well as an influential speaker, let's put it that way, motivational speaker. What would be your 5 pageant tips for all of our viewers watching?
Ooh. Okay, so number 5 would be, don't worry about the size of your outfits, worry about feeling confident and comfortable in them. So for a very long time, I felt the need to buy clothing that was a certain size and then try to squeeze myself into it. But don't do that, because that's not ever going to lead to you feeling comfortable and happy and to feel confident in your own skin. Buy clothes in which you feel comfortable in which you feel, beautiful in, and don't care about what the size number is, because that truly doesn't matter. So that'd be number 5. Number 4, I would say, don't be afraid to just put yourself out there and try new things. It can be super scary going into pageantry. So if you're watching this right now and you're considering it, just do it. Honestly, put yourself out there, push yourself out of your comfort zone. My favorite YouTubers, actually, they're called Yes Theory, and their motto is seek discomfort. And that to me means push yourself out of your comfort zone and just take that leap of faith like I did. And so number 4 would be to take that leap of faith and just do it. Number 3, I would say that, it's going to be very difficult in anything you do, not just pageantry, but anything you do, you're going to have bad days. Don't let that define you. Don't let your bad days be the defining factor of who you are or what your opinion of things are. See it for what it is, which, is a bad week or a bad day or a bad evening, but don't think that it's, the end of the world. You will get past this. It will be okay. And you will come out on the other side, and you're going to see that you grew so much through this opportunity. So don't let those bad evenings or bad days or whatever it may be define your view of the world. So that's number 3. Number 2 is you are allowed to love yourself. As women, we are told we need to be humble. We need to kind of shy in the background, that, we speak when we're spoken to, all of that nonsense. That's not the case. You are absolutely 100% allowed to love yourself, and I encourage you to do it. Fall in love with every single thing that makes you unique. Fall in love with every single thing that, you may not have loved as a child, but you love now. Fall in love with every inch of yourself. And if you need to, look in a mirror and point out the things you love about yourself to get you started, I encourage it. But don't let anyone stop you from falling in love with yourself, because you're going to feel so good if you do. And I would say number 1, my most important, is don't try to be somebody you're not. Be who you are. Because, you've been a judge. You can say that if somebody comes out here and is pretending to be somebody else, they're pretending to be the previous title holder, they're pretending to be who they think the judges want, you're going to see right through it. And you're not going to be happy doing it. You're not going to get the most out of your experience. You're not going to get the most out of life. And you're going to feel really awful about it. So be your authentic self. Go out there as you and show the world who you are. And people are going to love you. And for those who don't, well, they don't matter anyways. the people who matter are the people who are going to love you for you. So those are my 5. They're a little bit deep and kind of philosophical, I guess. But I think once you really get the mindset out of the way, the rest of it, that's the easy part. Getting your walk down, getting your swimsuits fitted, all of that, in my opinion, is the easy part. Once you get down the mindset of it all, once you feel confident and comfortable, no matter what happens and no matter what the outcome is, you're going to have the best experience ever. So those are my 5 tips.
Those are 5 amazing tips. I think I'm going to put it out there. I think those are some of the best tips that we've actually received on this segment.
Yeah. No, seriously, because there is so much of like several of those like dealt with like mindset, and we've talked a bit about this on the show. It's so important. It can make or break you, and just how you really feel about yourself will always shine through. So I love all of that. I particularly liked the comment about like not trying to fit into a certain size and just being as you are. I'm sure you feel that anyone can participate in pageants no matter what size. I'm assuming that's your belief system.
Yeah, absolutely.
And can you give some advice maybe to people who are considering entering a pageant, but maybe their size is stopping them from pressing that registration button?
I think the best advice I would have for someone who is kind of on the fence is don't go after a system because your friend or your other friend or whatever it may be, they loved it. Do your research, find one where you are going to feel comfortable and where you are going to be embraced and celebrated. Because I have heard of a lot of systems where size, does kind of matter. They may not say that, but it's felt that way. And people are made to feel bad about the skin that they're in, and about their size. And so I would say, really do your research, find a system where you're going to feel the most confident and comfortable, and don't be afraid to kind of go to that system that your friends don't go to, or whatever it may be, if that's going to make you feel good. The other thing I would say is that obviously, if you're somebody who is having these thoughts, which I've had these thoughts absolutely, where I've had to look and say, okay, am I, going to be accepted for my size? I would say that you need to, before you do anything, really learn to, like I said, love yourself for whatever size you are. Because once you do love yourself, once you've been comfortable in your own skin, and once you've come to really embrace yourself, regardless of what size you are, then it's not going to matter what other people say about you. I remember when I competed in one pageant, there was a bikini portion and there was a couple other things. And I don't think I was fully ready yet for that. I don't think I was fully ready mentally to be there. And I remember when I didn't place, I was so young, by the way, I was like 18. So that was part of it, right? I wasn't mentally ready and I was so young. But I remember when I didn't place, I was like, it's because I am not this size. It's because I'm bigger. It's because of whatever it may be. And I felt so bad about myself. And then I look back and I realized it likely wasn't because of that. That was just an insecurity that I hadn't dealt with yet. And so that's where my mind immediately pointed to. My mind didn't go to, okay, maybe my walk wasn't strong yet. Maybe my speaking was a little bit kind of shaky, or whatever it might be. It was my mind jumped right to my insecurity, which was my size. And so I would really encourage you to do that inner work and to come to terms with whatever your insecurities are, recognize them, recognize what triggers them, and recognize what you can do to make yourself feel good and comfortable, so that when you do participate in these experiences, in these pageants, you're not going to set yourself back, and you're not going to feel worse about yourself from participating in them.
Love that. Love that so much. I've definitely been that girl. So, and everything you said is so true. I had to go through that same battle, that same process in my head. And it's still it's still a constant thing. You can get over it once and then you re-enter into something else and it comes back. So you have to redo that work. But yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because I do appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely.
Those are amazing tips, and I totally get it. I've been called multiple things for my body shape in different pageant as well, so I get it. You seem to be heating up our chat right now, Kaitlyn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the comments. So as you know, Janice McGregor is in the chat. She's giving you 3 claps for when you talked about your Pride organization. And then Alexandra Neiman, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. They say happy coming out day. Janice says, hi Alex. Her platform is mental health. Watch the replay from the beginning after this. And I guess as you're talking, Alexandra says, oh wow, that is awesome. She should come walk for Fashion Week. Janice says, Alex, I was going to talk to you about her and Break Free. By the way, she's speaking in DC later this month, talking about your suicide prevention. Alexandra goes, no way. Is she an advocate for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention or an association with NAMI? She should totally get in touch with them. They would love her. So there's a lot going on in the conversation. So
I love you.
Kaitlyn, where can people find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the best place to connect with me is through my social media. All of my social media handles are Kaitlyn Kotila. So Kaitlyn spelled Katlyn. Last name is Kotila. And I'm mainly active on Instagram, but I also have TikTok and Twitter and all those fun things. I also have a website. So my website's also my name.com. So KaitlynKotila.com. And there you can learn more about my speaking. If you want to collaborate or if you have any opportunities that you think I'd be great for, absolutely send them my way. Like I mentioned earlier, if it's not an opportunity for me, I'll obviously recommend somebody else who I think would be wonderful for the role. But if it's something that I think fits and that we can work together on, I'm always happy to collaborate. And you can send those either to my Instagram or to my email, which is KaitlynKotila@gmail.com. So lots of ways to connect with me. Now, if you want to follow my reign, you can go on Instagram, it's Miss Confidence Canada, or on Facebook as Miss Confidence Canada as well. And so I post lots there about my reign.
Love that. This actually ties in perfect to one of the social media questions we have, because they're asking what you have planned this year as Miss Confidence Canada. So what will you be sharing on these social platforms?
Yeah, so one thing that I can kind of share that won't be happening here in 2022, but will hopefully be happening in the new year, is I would like to be working with local organizations to put together a number of confidence building workshops. And so I actually had kind of a behind the scenes conversation with one organization that wants to do a workshop on social media. And so they're a social media agency and they want to do a workshop about, social media literacy and building confidence through that, and how you can use social media to obviously brand and market yourself, but also making sure that when you are using social media, you're doing it in a way that's healthy for your mental health and it's not going to make you feel worse about yourself. So that's going to be hopefully in the works for the new year. And the idea is to kind of do a number of workshops either here in Sudbury starting out or virtually, where those who may not be from my community can join in. So we're kind of working on the logistics there, but I'm super excited for the new year. And then currently in the fall, I'm still, like I said, I'm going to Washington at the end of October. So I'll be posting a little bit about that as well. I'm currently working with a couple other mental health organizations for the fall and then holiday season. I'm really looking forward to the Santa Claus parade and all that fun stuff. So lots of fun things going on. And it's only really going to pick up from here. I'm super excited.
That's so amazing. There's a lot going on with your not just as a title holder, but just in life in general. But my question is, after Miss Confidence Canada, what's next for you? Do you have another pageant in mind? Where do you see yourself going?
Be careful. We manifest on this show, so be very careful with what you say.
We do.
Well, step one, as I'm Miss Confidence Canada still, is definitely to graduate and get my degree and all of that fun stuff. So that I am manifesting is to graduate. But then once my reign as Miss Confidence Canada is over, I definitely do want to look at some of the other national pageants that are available. There's one that my current pageant director may or may not have been a title holder for that I've been eyeing. So that is definitely one that I'm interested in. But like I said, I really want to do my research and pick one where I'm going to feel the most confident and comfortable, because pageants to me are more than just a title. They really are that experience, right? And so I want to do one where I am encouraged to just really dive deep into myself and to explore and to do things that push me out of my comfort zone. So I'm hoping that I will do another pageant in person once my reign is over. So we'll see which one.
I think we know which one you're talking about, and I think we've all been a title holder for that one. So,
yeah. I mean,
you know,
there's lots to choose from, and I love being particular with choosing a pageant. I honestly, for me, picking a pageant is sometimes one of the most exciting, fun parts, doing the research and seeing where you feel like you fit. So yeah, enjoy that process of figuring out what best fits you. Oh, and Janice in the comments here is saying, is there an American version of Miss Confidence Canada? I think I know the answer, but I'll let you take it.
Not that I'm aware of. But I mean, if there are other, not yet. That's the key there. I mean, who knows how this system is going to grow, and we'll see kind of where Melanie takes it and kind of what opportunities present themselves as the future unfolds.
Yes, actually, speaking of, so you mentioned another in-person pageant, Miss Confidence Canada was a virtual pageant. Which one do you prefer? Virtual or in person?
I really like in person. Virtual was fun because it gets to stretch you in different ways. So for example, I had to do an essay. And so some pageants you do have to write an essay for, but other ones you don't for the in-person ones. Same with evening gown, which is one of the portions I did forget when I was listing them off earlier. Doing the evening gown video is a really different experience. And so it was fun to do the virtual, but I just love meeting everyone and getting to know all of my sisters, and the whole being on stage with the shining lights and all that. You really can't there's nothing like it. It is this whole experience in itself. And for those who've never done pageants before, I highly recommend it. Please try it just once, because they're so wonderful.
Yeah. And I guess the good thing about in-person pageants is you don't miss being crowned.
That too. Maybe. Hopefully. I mean, there could be a situation, I'm sure, but hopefully, yeah, you don't miss getting crowned. And in general, like I used to be a dancer. And so for me, getting to do the opening number and all the different kind of routines that are a part of it are just so fun. It brings me back to when I was a dancer, and I love being on stage and performing.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
See, me and Regine do not like the opening number, so good for you. I'm glad there's some people out there that
someone here, yeah. There's
good.
someone on this show right now. Yes, thank God you're here. So Kaitlyn, as we start to wrap things up, I mean, you are such an inspiration, and you're so. First off, thank you for opening up and sharing your story and who you are with our viewers. But as we start to wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to share with us and our viewers before we go?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being here today and for listening. And I really do. I'm a firm believer that every person that I meet in my life does teach me something. And so I consider every person I meet, whether it be for 30 minutes or, for a couple of seconds, as part of my journey. And so I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the two of you, of course, for being a part of my journey, and everyone watching today for being a part of my journey. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the support that I've received. And I want everyone to know that now that you're a part of my journey, I consider myself a part of yours. And so I want to support all of you as well. And so I do hope that we stay connected. Please don't be shy. My DMs are always open. And I really want this to be a relationship, and I want to encourage your journeys just as much as everyone has encouraged mine.
You are so sweet. I can give you a hug right now. Like when I say I'm so glad I'm wearing a sweater, I am so glad I'm wearing a sweater. That is you can feel your genuine self through the camera. And I think that's, like you said, being a judge, listening to you all talk for 5 minutes, you actually see your authentic soul essentially coming through the screen. And I think we all saw that today. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Again, where can people follow you online? And I will put the links in the description after today's episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So people can follow me on Instagram at Kaitlyn Kotila, on Facebook at Kaitlyn Kotila, or on my website, which is also my name, at KaitlynKotila.com.
Perfect. And really quickly in the chats, Alexandra is a New York fashion designer and organizes New York Fashion Week showcases. So Janice says that Alex and herself will be talking about you in a good way. So I'm sure they will be hitting up your DMs. So there you go. Just really quickly, you look at her screen right now. Her name is spelled right there for you.
Yep.
Liz, where can people find you?
You can find all my pageant things on Elizabeth Murdoch Pageantry, and then you can also find my pageant hair and makeup account at Elizabeth Murdoch Artistry. I'm heading over your way, Kaitlyn, to Sudbury actually very soon, so hopefully to see all those Sudbury girls there. And yeah, that's basically it. Regine, how about you?
You guys can find me here on my YouTube channel. So if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you enjoyed all things pageantries and just the pageant sit down itself, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on social media at It's Regina Elena on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you'd like to follow the Pageant Sit Down here, we are on social media at Pageant Sit Down on Instagram and Facebook. Once again, Kaitlyn, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure getting to not only meet you, but now be part of your journey or part of ours, and just to get to know you. I will.
Oh, well, I'll wrap it up, I guess. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you, Kaitlyn, for being a fabulous guest. And I actually am not sure if I don't even know if I can end this myself, so I don't know. But yeah, it's been an awesome show. And also, you know what? Shout out to Melanie too, because Melanie is an amazing director and she's done so much amazing work, and I love the socials of it, and it's such a fun pageant. So if you're looking for a fun online virtual pageant to be a part of, hit her up and check out Miss Confidence Canada.
Highly recommend, seriously. Yes. And since we're waiting kind of for time here as well, like I said, for those interested, please do check out Miss Confidence Canada. Whether you have tons of experience and you're just looking to kind of brush up on those skills, and whether it be hone in on specific elements like your interview or practicing your essays or whatever it may be, it's really a great opportunity. And it's also a great opportunity for those who have never competed in a pageant before, who are looking to kind of just get their feet wet but don't want to do one in person yet, or kind of just want to see what the world is like. I think this is a perfect starter pageant as well. And it's a lot of fun. Melanie's wonderful, and you truly do get treated like a queen, as not only a title holder, but just as a participant in Miss Confidence Canada.
Awesome. Okay, so I think, okay, so Regine just says to end the call. Okay. So, bye everybody. If we both leave at the same time, I think we're good, Kaitlyn. Okay.
Beautiful.
Bye everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks for joining. Bye.